The United States has officially entered the Israel-Iran war, a major escalation that could reshape the entire region. What does this mean for West Asia? And what's next as the world watches closely? Stay with us for all the latest. The United States has officially entered the Israel-Iran war. On Saturday, President Donald Trump announced that the U.S. military carried out major strikes on 3 of Iran's most critical nuclear facilities: Fordow, Natanz and Isfahan, in coordination with Israeli forces. In fact, during a national address from the White House, Trump said that the facilities were quote-unquote completely and totally obliterated. He then praised the joint effort with Israel, calling it a level of coordination like perhaps no team has ever worked before.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz and Isfahan. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Now, according to defense officials, the strikes included over 30 Tomahawk missiles launched from U.S. Navy submarines. Meanwhile, B-2 stealth bombers flew from Missouri, possibly carrying 30,000-pound GBU-57 bunker buster. That are the only conventional weapon powerful enough to damage Fordow, which is buried deep inside a mountain. Now, the commander-in-chief's this move marks a sharp escalation and a dramatic reversal, because just 2 days earlier, Trump had said he would wait for 2 weeks before making a final decision on American military involvement. But now it seems like that window is for sure closed.
There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes.
Now, Trump watched the operation unfold from the Situation Room, surrounded by his national security team. He thanked Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane, who are expected to hold a press briefing Sunday morning. Trump, during his address, also regarded Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying the strikes had gone a long way to erasing the horrible threat to Israel.
I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done.
Meanwhile, Iran's response was also swift. Taking to us, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi condemned the U.S. attack as a grave violation of international law and the UN Charter. He declared that Iran reserves all options to defend its sovereignty. In fact, just days earlier, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had warned that any U.S. military entry would cause irreparable damage.
And of course, the Americans, those who are familiar with the politics of this region, know that America's intervention in this matter is 100% to their detriment. What they will suffer in this regard is much greater than what Iran may suffer. The damage America will suffer if it makes a military intervention in this field will undoubtedly be irreparable.
The Iranian military has not yet confirmed the extent of damage, but the regime is signaling that retaliation is coming. In the latest, Iran says it fired one of its biggest ballistic missiles targeting Israel after the U.S. strikes. An Israeli rescue service said Iranian missiles struck areas in northern and central parts of the region and wounded at least 16. U.S. bases in the region have also been placed on highest alert. In fact, intelligence reports suggest Iran has pre-approved plans to strike American targets in the Middle East if provoked. Amid rising regional tensions, the risk to global energy markets is rising too. Iran may attempt to mine the Strait of Hormuz, which is a narrow channel responsible for nearly 20% of the world's oil traffic. In fact, Qatar Energy and Greek shipping authorities have already advised vessels to avoid the strait. Now moving on to the Israeli front. Netanyahu applauded Trump's bold decision and said that joint strike would change history. He added, first comes strength, then comes peace, and tonight the United States acted with a lot of strength. Listen in.
With this, the United States continued, with greater intensity and with great force, the attacks of the IDF and the Mossad on Iran's nuclear program. This program threatened our very existence and also endangered the peace of the entire world. President Trump is a strong leader of the free world. He is a great friend of Israel, a friend like no other. In my name and on behalf of all the citizens of Israel, on behalf of the entire Jewish people, I thank him from the bottom of my heart.
On the ground, Iran's armed forces say they targeted multiple sites in Israel, including the Ben Gurion airport. The IRGC announced that it initiated the 18th phase of True Promise Operation 3, utilizing numerous suicide and combat drones. In terms of casualties, Iran says 400 people have been killed and 3,000 injured from Israeli strikes. And Iran's retaliatory attacks on Israel have left at least 24 dead. However, back in Washington, Trump sounded ready for whatever comes next. So for now, the world waits, breath held, nerves fraying, as two old enemies stand at the edge of something far bigger. The fuse is lit, and what explodes next could rewrite history.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
$36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktoren,
Hindi,
$30 trillion kakarjok.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
$4
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.